9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Hello, everybody. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It is Timeless Elite Wednesdays with not only the Timeless Elite, your PR princess, Stone Cold Courtney, whatever you want to call me. I am here with all of you for AEW Dynamite, coming to you live from the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan, 1 week before they surf into Beach Break next week. And we're kicking it off with Mr. Hangman Adam Page, who has a highly anticipated match against Will Ospreay at Double or Nothing for the Owen Hart Men's Cup Tournament. The winner of that match will get a title opportunity for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship at All in Texas. So there is a lot hanging. And also, before I forget, if you watched WWT Live and saw the preview, it is Will Ospreay's birthday. So make sure to wish a happy birthday to Mr. Aerial Assassin himself, the birthday boy. Feel free to put any moment you have with Will Ospreay. It doesn't have to be in AEW. If you followed him in New Japan or even watched him in wrestling in the UK, feel free to put any comments that you have, because it is the birthday boy, and he will be there tonight. And sure, he has a lot worse to say. But we're going to hear from Mr. Hangman Adam Page. Hi, Lewis Johnson. Hi, Tiana. Thank you for joining on this watch along tonight. Warm reception for Hangman. That is true. So it looks like. Do I smell the juice? So it looks like it's a slight truce between Hangman and Swerve. Oh yeah, because last week he's from Virginia, so I think that was special for him. And speaking of Will Ospreay, it's not too late for him. And as I mentioned, it is his birthday today. Will Ospreay, he's the birthday boy, and he cut his hair. Why? Why do I feel like? I feel like anybody that knows me knows I have a diehard for boy bands, but I feel like his haircut reminds me that he needs to be put in a boy band. He just reminds me of like when Nick Carter had his haircut like that when the Backstreet Boys first started. I said if AEW has any Katusha being a boy band, he's in it. He's already the number one pick. But let's hear what the birthday boy and Ariel Sasson has to say. And this is the first time they encountered with each other. Will trying to put some jokes in. That is true. That's the first time. Will Ospreay talking about his moments with the Dark Order. He chuckled. It is true. Will Ospreay and Swerve are friends in real life. And Will Ospreay was on Swerve's podcast a year ago last year. Oh my god, Will Ospreay. Um, and looky, that creep with his family. I really thought it was gonna be the Death Riders, but I know they have to deal with Samoa Joe. They say F Don Callis. They always say that every week. Oh, it looks like there's a little bit of friction. Question is, who's going to be the two people that'll face off against Hangman and Ospreay? I could see Takeshita, and I'm trying to think of the second one. This has been an interesting. This has been an interesting kickoff to Double or Nothing. We got to see the first time, and hold on. Yep, they're gonna go through because so far we have two matches for Double or Nothing. But I think between this and next week for Beach Break, we're gonna be adding some more matches. And as I mentioned, next week for Beach Break, Samoa Joe, Jon Moxley in a steel cage match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship match. And I would think that would be the main event: Samoa Joe versus Claudio Castagnoli. Hi, Gas Mask. Thank you for joining. Deadpool Party. Thank you for joining on this watch along, this timeless Elite Wednesday watch along with yours truly. It is definitely a fun time, but they're going through the match card for tonight as we preview for Dynamite. Hi, Maria Garcella Sayas. Thank you for joining. And also, I get a double dose because my latest client, Jamie Hayter, will be sitting down with Renee Paquette to talk about her upcoming match at Double or Nothing against the CEO, Mercedes Moné. And my other client, the timeless one. And ladies and gentlemen, our ladies match is next. And what's this little weasel doing out here with FTR? And what are they doing with Tony Schiavone? Oh my God. I wish Tony Schiavone would slap him in the face. That's all I want. Well, I mean, Tony ain't wrong. He's not wrong. I call him a weasel. Get him, Tony! I don't know if Taz can still wrestle, but I think Excalibur can. Hey, why are you pushing Tony Schiavone? They are so lucky Nigel is not there. I will say FTR are doing a lot more better as heels than they are babyface. Stokely's trying to be tough. He doesn't spite on his own. Who does he think he is? But I don't know if they're copying WWE because that's pretty interesting. And also with the fact too, I wouldn't say they copied it. And Harley Cameron, Anna Jay, because we did see them on Saturday this past week. I will say I do like this tag team of Harley and Anna Jay. They do work well as a tag team. They do. And speaking of that, here comes my client, the AEW Women's Champion, Toni Storm, and she's a fighting champion, I will say. And also, if you did not know, I actually had the chance to go to Collision this past weekend. My first time I attended Collision on a Saturday night. And it was really fun. I got to see 3 of my clients in person. The timeless one, Toni Storm, who had a very memorable promo going on the boardwalk. I got to see Anthony Bowens do a backstage interview with Lexi, because it looks like he's going to be feuding with like Christian. And also I got to see Max Caster in action. And I have to say, the chants were real. And it was live in person. But it is so interesting because Boardwalk Hall, it's been years since I've been to Boardwalk Hall. Anytime I saw a wrestling show. And also they're doing a lot of revamping and rebuilding. So it was a little bit small. And plus, the interesting part of where I sat, I could actually see the announcing table back there. So Adam Cole, yeah, they had to direct Adam Cole where he goes to the announcing table. So he sat there with Tony Schiavone and Nigel McGuinness. So I was able to see them right across from there. I was this close almost meeting Tony Schiavone, but of course he had to leave early, which is understandable. He had to leave a little bit. But it was really fun. I actually enjoyed seeing a live crowd. And then I get to stay afterwards because they were doing tapings of Ring of Honor. So I was like, why not? And Tony Khan actually came out. And of course, he did get some booze. And I know this is not funny, but somebody actually yelled and called him a dork. I mean, I didn't want to laugh at it, but I thought that was kind of funny in a way. But I said, sweetheart, he's a dork, but he's a billionaire. Just to be fair. But I'm very excited for this 4-way women's match. I'm like, you were teasing me because it looks like it's not at 9:30. But I'm really happy that they are putting it off as the first official match, the women's match. That makes me very excited. But still not taking away the fact you did not give us a women's main event pay-per-view. So you kind of need to amp it up. But happy for Tony. Perhaps we're not seeing Luther out here. But I think she can handle with or without Luther. She's a champ. She's going, and it looks like Anna Jay and Penelope Ford are going at it with, because you know those two have a grudge against each other. Also, Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm, they have a lot of history with each other. So this is going to be an interesting match. And I'll be watching closely because I know Anna Jay wants a piece of that. Penelope Ford, but also being careful too of both Megan Bayne and Harley Cameron, especially after what happened this past weekend on Collision. So I'm really happy they are developing a storyline which is outside of the title picture, which is something that they need, especially with the loaded roster that they have. Tony has to be a fighting champion. This is her third. I don't know. That's really an interesting question. Well, it would be interesting if they did pin Tony, but I don't think you have to pin her to win. And I think they're trying to save or protect her the same way with Thunder Rosa and even Anna Jay. Just the question is, who is willing to take the pinfall? That is the $1 million question. But I'm always happy to see Thunder Rosa in the ring. Definitely happy to see all the ladies in the ring. I would love for Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm to bring it back. Because I remember when she first came to AEW, I believe Thunder Rosa was the champion. And her and Tony locked eyes. And they had some pretty interesting meetups with each other. Oh, nice move by Penelope Ford. And then Anna Jay. I'm going to tell you something. There is a lot of grudge between Penelope Ford and Anna Jay, which I love, and I'm happy they are revamping that back. And especially if you did not know, it's really coming into effect. Yeah, that is true, because Luther's always with her, but maybe he took the night off or something. But hey, Mike Lyle's the AEW Women's Champion. She's still going to be there regardless. It's just so interesting how far she has come since she's been in AEW. It is crazy. Oof. Penelope gave that nasty kick to my client. Oh, nice moonsault by Penelope, I will say. And here comes Thunder Rosa out of nowhere. What's she gonna do? Oh my god! This is why I love women's wrestling right here. They need to give it. It's probably the only case of somebody who left WWE and went to AEW. It was the race. Well, Bosa, to be fair, the other case that you can argue is Swerve. Because when Swerve was in WWE, of course, he was at NXT, he was with Hit Row, but then when he went to AEW, it just shifted that quickly. So there's Tony, there's Swerve. Both of them came from WWE. So Tony, yes, but you also have to put in Swerve too. And this match is going in picture, but the match is still going on live. I think that's one of the things I do love is they're doing the picture and the match is still going on live. Tony. I feel like somewhere down the line, I feel like Tony Storm and Thunder Rosa need to bring it back. They need to bring it back to their rivalry because it was so fun. Tony has a submission hold up penalty before, and it looks like Thunder Rosa has a submission. Oh, my client! Oh. But she'll be fine. She's a fighter. But anyways, go back to what happened earlier between FTR and that weasel Stokely Hathaway trying to bully poor Tony Schiavone. I feel like this is going to be something where Nigel McGuinness is going to come back to the ring. Because he can still go. He looks good. He's in body shape. And also, people may not know this, because I know Nigel always has his puns and his moments, but there are a few people we do respect in the wrestling world. And one of those people is Tony Schiavone. I will say he is very, very, very protective of Tony Schiavone. He respects him as a commentator, the longevity of his career. But I'm very intrigued of where this is going to go because, of course, we could see Nigel McGuinness returning to the ring. Partnering with who? I don't know. But I know this is a long shot, but it would be kind of funny if Nigel and Bryan Danielson teamed up against FTR. But I don't know. That's just wishful thinking. And the phrase, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. But I wouldn't mind seeing that. But that would be very curious on who would be Nigel's partner. That's a question we'll probably figure out in the coming weeks. But we are back live with our first match, highlighting the ladies of AEW. My client, the Timeless One, the AEW Women's Champion, taking on Thunder Rosa, Anna Jay, and the bad girl Penelope Ford in a fatal 4-way women's eliminator match. And also, this match is going to be good, but I do expect a lot of shenanigans with everything in place regarding Megan Bayne and Harley Cameron. If you watched Collision this past weekend, you would know as Harley Cameron put on an incredible match and effort against Megan Bayne. I thought she almost had her because it looks like she did. But thankfully, Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford beating the crap out of her. But Anna Jay came up with the save. So Harley and Anna are getting to be a tag team, which I love. DDT by Thunder Rosa. The $1 million question in this match is who is willing to take the pinfall? And Penelope looks like she's on the top rope. Ooh, nice moonsault by Penelope. That's what I need to see. I need to see their women's division have a lot of TV time. Nothing against my client. I mean, I'm always happy to see my client because, you know, Tony, Mercedes, I just think like it would be great to show like other women in the roster who are improving, and also creating storylines outside of the title picture. Hip attack? Double hip attack. I guess we see a thunderstorm or thunder tits, but thunderstorm. A little bit of that. I guess it kind of makes up with the tag team between them two and Penelope and Megan Bayne. Oh, and speaking of that, and I said this too, you have Megan Bayne right there, and also this eliminator match is no disqualification, because I just can't see anybody taking a loss. Yeah, it's no disqualification, so the ref can't ring the bell. So we see Megan Bayne. So Harley Cameron has not to be close by, because she's supporting her friend Anna Jay. So we just need to see Harley. Ooh, that was a rough hit by Anna Jay. So I guess they're going to protect Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm. I do believe it's going to be an anarchy in the arena match. And oh, here comes Harley Cameron. And I just said it too. I just said it. She wants to defend her friend Anna Jay. And I have to say, as I mentioned, she put a solid effort in the match she had against her last week on Collision. And she has a pipe in her hand. Carly has a pipe in her hand. I kind of like, I do like the side of Harley Cameron. I want to see more. I want to see more of this. And Penelope has Anna Jay in a submission hold. Look at Toni. Look at my client, Toni Storm. My client's like, I'm not going to do this. And she's putting her in a submission hold. Is she going to tap? Is she going to tap? Is she going to tap? Match is over. Winner of that match is my client, the timeless one, Toni Storm. And I love that they're protecting Thunder Rosa and Anna Jay. They're protecting them too. I'm really happy they are doing it. And Boza, you said this. Christian Cage has some skeletons in his closet to clean out. He's demanding honor. Boza, elaborate with me on this, because I'm really curious about this on socials. And we see Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm hugging it out. We know these two have a history with each other. I actually would not have a problem if they bring it back. I would not. And I think they said the next match would be Samoa Joe and Claudio Castagnoli. I'm surprised, because I really thought that was going to be the main event. But I have a theory the trios match is going to be the main event. Which actually, I don't have a problem with the trios match being the main event. I really thought it was going to be Samoa Joe and Claudio. It was announced during the match that Christian Cage has demanded a mystery opponent from Christian. Really? That is interesting. I'm very curious on who Christian picked to go against Nick Wayne. I'm very, very curious. And thank you for being informative on that, Boza. I'm very, very curious. But thank you guys for hanging out with me, because it's after 8:30. A lot of fun has happened so far. Kicked it off with the ladies. I actually like it. Instead of being, because people think, oh, they're at 9:30, but when you have stuff like this, it's like, oh, you kick it off with the ladies. I am curious how AEW counteracts what WWE did for NXT. Yeah, but it's going to be very interesting on how they're going to counteract. I think between this week and next week, we're going to figure out the full card for Double or Nothing. There is going to be an anarchy in the arena match. The Death Riders, yes. I'm just very curious on who it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure Samoa Joe's going to be involved somewhat down the line. I'm just curious how this is going to intertwine a bit. And also, I could see a tag team match between Swerve and Kenny Omega against the Young Bucks. I could see that. I could see that happening. But I think there is a lot of storylines that they can work with leading up to Double or Nothing that can create matches. Just have to figure out where what's it gonna look like, and also continuing the road to All In Texas as well, because I think now we'll get an idea. And also, Will Ospreay and Hangman still have to deal with the John Callis family, even though they won a shot against the AEW World Heavyweight title. It's gonna be interesting how they segue some of these storylines, but we shall see, because it's still early. It's still early, guys. So we shall see. But thank you for joining with me on your Timeless Elite Wednesday. The PR Princess, Stone Cold Courtney, whatever you want to call me. But we shall see. But we are back live. I know, it's insane. And and here comes Leah Rush and Action Andretti. A little fact right there. When I was at Collision this past weekend, I actually had a good view on where it was. And I got to see Leah Rush and Action Andretti walk right over. Like, they were literally sitting right in the front row, and I was kind of not far from them. So I thought that was pretty cool. And we are going to get a visit from the AEW Tag Team Champions, the Hurt Syndicate, accompanied by MVP. They are the Tag Team Champions. You got to respect that. They are the champs. I wouldn't mind for them to go back to the Gates of Agony again. I wouldn't mind seeing Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly get a shot. I wouldn't mind them going round 2 against the Outrunners. I'm just trying to think of any other tag teams that are top of my head. It's too early for FTR because their heels. It's too early for them. I haven't seen Private Party. Yes, Moza, he did win 100K. And I'm happy Tay put him in check because he needs to put that money towards his baby. But let's hear what MVP and the Hurt Syndicate have to say. I do like the suits that they have on. Those are nice suits. Oh, I miss my clients, the Acclaimed. I miss them so much. But they're on solo trips. They'll be back in 2026. Oh! We get an appearance from Top Flight. It's been a while since they had tag team gold. I thought it was going to be Private Party that came out. But we get to hear from Darius and Dante. And of course, there's Action Andretti and Leah Rush sitting on the sides. I love the beginning. Some more mic time. That is true. They can do that. They're no Top Flight's no slouches. They are no slouches. MJF, what's he doing here? He just beat up on Top Flight. Wow. He beat up on Top Flight, MJF. I guess after last week. Well, after what Bobby Lashley said last week, he has to hurt somebody. So we shall see. What? Is he really biting? Is he biting Dante's face? No, that's Darius. He bloodied up Dante. They are very over. People are saying we hurt people. Powerbomb. Dante. Well. Part of me wishes I thought Private Party was going to come out because we haven't seen them in months. Let's see what MJF has to say. That's what MJF has done. Fans are saying we hurt people. So I guess the answer is going to be for next week at Beach Break. And Bobby Lashley smiled. He had a smile. Well, Bobby Lashley seemed very impressed. Most of that is true because half of the ladies in that locker room probably can't stand MJF. I'm just laughing at the tone of Excalibur's voice when we're going to hear from the Elite. Part of me wishes Cody did not leave. That is true. Ricochet has beaten Swerve. Well, this is their... Oh! John Moxley in the Elite's locker room. Marina Shafir. See, ironically enough, I was saying this a couple months ago that it's no secret that they'll be working under the rug. The minute this was going to happen, I would not be shocked if they were working together. Yeah, Boza, that is true because fortunately they're the elites. You know, it's really interesting. Kenny Omega is an EVP, and how come he's not counteracting? I know he wants to get his hands on the Young Bucks too, but Kenny Omega's an EVP. He should at least use that to his potential or something, but I don't know. Anyways, from Boza, courtesy of our informational officer, we get a little bonus match. We see the Patriarchy coming out along with the new Ring of Honor television champion, Nick Wayne. He's going to be in action, and it'll be an opponent of Christian's choosing. Don't know who it is, but I'm very curious on who is going to step up to the plate. Also, going back to your point, Boza, yeah, Mox is going to need help for the Elite, but also this is where it comes into play because you got a lot of people in the locker room that can't stand the Elite and the Death Riders. So I would not be shocked if some of the locker room came out to help out Samoa Joe. And I think we'll have a clear picture in regards to the anarchy in the arena. Because there is going to be anarchy in the arena at Double or Nothing. Against who? I don't know. I think by next week there should be at least a clear pattern. We shall see. So feel free. But since they're on commercial, we're going to do a little quick commercial as well. And we're going to highlight our sponsors, All Caribbean Wrestling, here at WWT Live. So thank you to everything that you do and check them out.
This episode of Women's Wrestling Talk has been brought to you by All Caribbean Wrestling. Catch the wave. Go to allcaribbeanwrestling.com to check out all the latest pay-per-views or go on the YouTube page at All Caribbean Wrestling. Also, go and check out their socials on Instagram at All Caribbean Wrestling and on X at All Caribbean WR1.
Definitely want to send a shout out to All Caribbean Wrestling and everything that they've done. Also, I'm going to forget about how to do this. So make sure to wish happy birthday to Will Ospreay. And feel free to put any moments that you have of Will Ospreay, not just on AEW, but if you wrestled on New Japan, it is his birthday today. And hard to believe he's a year younger than me, and I'm 33, and he just turned 32. Crazy. Also, I have to give a shout out to another podcast that always supports love on WWT Live. It's Knockouts in 3 Podcasts. They are in the building for AEW Dynamite, and also make sure to check them out on social because they actually attended an event where one of the hosts got to interview Swerve Strickland. He was at an event, I believe it was supporting cerebral palsy, but he was there for the community and really showing a positive light for wrestlers, what they do outside of the ring. So go check it out on socials. And we're seeing Nick Wayne in the ring. And who's his opponent? Oh, right. Oh, well, obviously Rhino, because he lives in Detroit, Michigan. I know Taz is already up on his feet. It's always nice to see Rhino. He looks good. I know Taz is jumping. On the edge of his seat seeing his buddy Rhino. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Christian had problems with Rhino and TNA. They met in Detroit in an 8 Mile. Thank you for that clarity, Boza. Oh my God, Rhino. I'm pretty sure we'll see a gore. And it's for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. So, Nick Wayne, this is your toughest task because Rhino is no joke. Former hardcore champion, ECW champion. Not a man to be played with. You can tell there's a lot of friction between Christian and Nick Wayne. It's just a matter of time of when is it going to implode. It's just a matter of timing. But let's see these two go at it. Nick Wayne showing a little bit of offense. And also, I mentioned this earlier during WWT Live. Programming alert. AEW Collision will be on tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on TBS. Not TNT. It'll be on TBS and simulcast on Max. So just to give you a quick FYI. AEW Collision will be on tomorrow night, 8 p.m. on TBS. Simulcast on Max from Detroit, Michigan. So just wanted to give you a PSA regarding programming. Yeah, Boza, there is playoffs. Yeah, Backlash. Well, actually, it's really interesting because when Backlash was on there, Collision actually was on the same night. But I think it has a lot to do with mostly the playoffs, with NBA, NHL playoffs that are happening on TV. So it's mostly on that with scheduling wise because it's getting closer and closer to the championships. And we did see some of the stars in AEW. They were at the home of the Detroit Pistons earlier today. So it was really cool to see Harley Cameron, Shorb, Strickland, and a few others attend their facility. Rhino looks like he's in good shape. That'd be really funny if he gored Christian. That'd be really, really funny. You could tell Rhino still has a beef to pick with Christian. It's a shame Taz can't get out of the announcing desk because I'm sure he would have helped Rhino. He's doing the prettier on Rhino. That was pretty interesting. That was unusual. But your winner and still Ring of Honor World Television Champion, Nick Wayne, and yeah, Boza, that was really odd. I thought at least Rhino would have got the win, but it looks like there's a lot of friction between Christian and Nick Wayne because Christian's taking his belt. He's not giving Nick the belt. Like I said, folks, it's only a matter of time when it starts to spiral out of control. He's not giving him the belt? Oh, he made him drop the belt. Mother Wayne didn't look pretty pleased with that. Fans know that Tony only brought him around because of the friction. That is true. I believe it. And they're showing what happened last Saturday on Collision. Oh my God, that 100K Fatal 4-Way match. We got to see the return of Sammy Guevara in action versus AR Fox versus Roosh versus Kevin Knight. And Sammy Guevara was the winner. He is richer. And he was eyeing Adam Cole because he wants that TNT belt. And we'll hear from Roosh. Well, it looks like Roosh is calling out Sammy Guevara. Oh my God. Hi, Amatanu son. Thank you for joining on this watch along for Timeless Elite Wednesdays with your PR princess, your Timeless Elite. Stone Cold Courtney is with you tonight. We got some trios action up next. We got the ever-loving and humble Mark Briscoe. He's coming out. Also, we have the newest AEW kid on the block, Speedball Mike Bailey, who has just been a sensation since he's been out here. He's just been so fun to watch. And they're just waiting on their tag team partner, Swerve Strickland. And they'll be taking on, as I mentioned in the watch along, that annoying bald-headed nerd Ricochet and those obnoxious, annoying, pompous EVPs, the Young Bucks. Well, and speaking of Swerve Strickland, the people in Detroit, oh, I'm seeing a child that's wearing a Swerve t-shirt. That is so cute. And Prince Nana has his coffee. He also has a coffee brand, by the way. And here comes Swerve Strickland. That's really dope. And I actually do say I do love Swerve's new Titantron because it shows like some of the previous matches that he faced. And also, just to let you know, if you did not know, Swerve does a lot of rapping outside of the ring. So he just released new music that is streaming now on Spotify and Apple Music, and go check it out. Definitely check it out because I heard a lot of good things, that he's a really good rapper. Yes, let's go Swerve. Yeah, let's go Swerve. Oh, and we have this annoying guy, Ricochet. But I will say, I actually do love that he's playing a heel character. I love that he gets to do that and have that development. I think that was something maybe in WWE that he couldn't do. But, yeah. And, oh, you can tell by the look, you can tell by the sound of my voice, it's like, these annoying and pesky EVPs. You know, I always find it funny. They always call themselves the founding fathers of AEW, but I'm like, there's more to just you guys on who founded AEW. One of them is the guy that's over in the other promotion that's doing great things. And the other one, of course, he's the reigning international champion. And he's trying to seek revenge. And then, of course, you have the boss man, Tony Khan, who oversees all of it. So, but yep, as the announcement, AEW's mentioned right now, and we talked about it in WWT Live, AEW is releasing a book highlighting their 5 years since they've been in the professional wrestling world. It'll be released later this year in the fall. I'm just very curious on what stuff they're going to put in the book. I'm not sure if they're going to put all of it, but we shall see. And of course, there are some fans that do love the Young Bucks, but you know, everybody loves who they want. That's their own opinion. I have nothing against them wrestling wise. They are a great tag team, but they can be very annoying. And I guess that's just who they are. But trios action, and you can tell Swerve is Bucks hunting season. He is Bucks hunting because after he got screwed at Dynasty, yeah, I would be very, very scared of what Swerve is going to do. See, Ricochet, that's what happens when you talk too much and you try to act like a Mr. Tough Guy. But he's in the ring with Swerve Strickland. Here we go, starting off this trios match, and we are in the 9 o'clock hour. My God. But Swerve, as he should, slap the bald-headedness of Ricochet. I will say this has been pretty funny the last couple of weeks where they were talking about his baldness. I like it. Oof, nasty kick to the face. But Swerve, see? Swerve hasn't forgotten. He is Bucks hunting. He is hunting. Tag is made to Mark Briscoe, and the tag is made to Speedball Mike Bailey. Ooh, I do love this tag. I do love this teamwork by them. Nice hurricanrana by Speedball Mike Bailey. Here comes Mark Briscoe. They're just putting the triple team on Ricochet. And I think this is going to create a little bit of segue for Kevin Knight and Kazuchika Okada. Because remember, Ricochet screwed Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey in their match against the Young Bucks. And I don't think Kevin Knight's going to forget. But they do have the synergy work. That was really interesting. They're standing tall, but look behind you. Now all I need is Prince Nana to get a pipe or a steel chair. I just need Nana to get some kind of weapon. It looks like they're trying to do a break. Ooh, nasty kick by Speedball Mike Bailey. Oh my God! Triple flying! Oh, this match is gonna be insane. Mark Briscoe shaking the cameraman, but we knew this match was gonna end in a little bit of chaos. But here we are, and is he biting his face? But still to come, we have 2 more matches. We have Kazuchika Okada taking on Kevin Knight, and also Samoa Joe. Right before we cruise into, oh, thank you for that, Boza. I kind of figured that was going to be the main event. I could not see that being not the main event. They're just putting a poor beating on Ricochet. Oh my God. So just to let you know, because people ask me how I could tell apart the Young Bucks. In the teal blue, that is Nicholas. And in the beige leopard color, it's Matthew. No, actually, let me rephrase that. In the teal color, it's Nicholas. And in the beige, it's Matthew. Oh God. Beige is Nicholas. Teal is Matthew. So I just wanted to put that in there. And we are in picture, but the match is still going live. And this trio match is insane. Hi, Takara World. Thank you for joining on this watch along for Timeless Elite Wednesdays. Just to let you know, we are in the 9 o'clock. We're in the final hour. And if you're catching up with me, we are in a very exciting and high-flying trios match. Swerve Strickland, Mark Briscoe, and Speedball Mike Bailey taking on the team of the Young Bucks and Ricochet. So this has been fun. I just dropped it. Oh, that's awesome. That's so awesome that you dropped it on Twitter. We're going to have to check that out. But thank you for letting us know. This has been really, really fun. We have 2 more matches left. Also, we have my other client, Jamie Hager, because she's going to be sitting down with Renee Paquette talking about her incoming match against the Little Miss CEO, Mercedes Moné. I know a lot of people are really thinking this is an easy win for Little Miss CEO, but you ain't doing it against Jamie Hager, and this is the first time you're playing her. Come on now. Because I said this a couple weeks ago in my watch along. I said, I have a feeling Mercedes Moné is going to get screwed at Double or Nothing. And to who? I believe it could possibly be Athena. Oh, that's nice. You're doing all their artwork, especially on the new releases. That is so awesome. Yeah, the last couple days has been a little bit crazy in the wrestling world. Of course, we had to deal with so many releases this past week, the last couple days, where it was a shock. And ironically enough, they were breaking while we were doing WWT Live last week. And it was just release after release after release. And it was crazy. It was crazy seeing that. But we do want to wish them the best in their endeavors. We never like to see all stars go. And we get it. At the end of the day, it's a business because, of course, with WWE merging with TKO, they did have to make specific cuts happening. It was really sad. Nobody wants to see you out of a job. And Will said this on the kayfabe last week. Matt Cardona put out a tweet of wrestlers who just got released saying, just keep going. Keep going. Really find yourself and really continue the grind. And I commend them for that because I know they're going to do successful wherever they need to be. But anyways, looking at this match live, because the match is, even though it's a picture, the match is still going on live. And good for you, Takara World. Thank you for supporting like all the stars that recently got released. That is pretty awesome on what you're doing for the world. And we are back live in the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan, where we have a fun, high-flying, crazy trios match. We have Ricochet and those pesky, obnoxious EVPs Young Bucks taking on Swerve Strickland, Mark Briscoe, and Speedball Mike Bailey. And this has been a fun match. This has been a fun match. Speedball Mike Bailey is really great. Ooh, nice move by him. nice hurricanrana by Speedball Mike Bailey. This guy is something. Here's a little fact. So, with Speedball Mike Bailey. So earlier this year, I did commentary for Bell to Bell. And a little bit about Bell to Bell. They are an all-women's independent wrestling company in the East Coast. No one has ever done it. Oh my God. Hold on. Laying on his feet. Woo! Nice move by him. He got made by Ricochet. But anyways, earlier this year, I got to do Bell to Bell, which is an all-women's independent wrestling promotion. It is hosted at the Monster Factory, one of the most famous wrestling schools. But anyways, during Bell to Bell in January, I got to do special commentary for their matches, and I got to do commentary alongside Vita, who is also married to Speedball Mike Bailey. And I thought that was so cool, and especially with the fact she's been doing this for a while. She actually started working as a wrestler too in the Ring of Honor, but then she switched over to commentary. So she's been doing a lot of commentary. She was in Vegas during WrestleMania week. She commentated Maple Leaf Wrestling, New Japan recently. So make sure to follow her on socials as well. And I message her every now and then, and I always tell her, like, I'm so proud of your husband. He's doing great. So that was just a fun story I had to say. But the fans are on their feet for this trios match. Even Prince Nana's jumping up and down trying to get everybody in. So Speedball Mike Bailey's trying to make the tag in, but the Young Bucks got him. Ooh, nice counter by Speedball. He's got those strong legs. He got those strong legs, and here comes Swerve Strickland. And I told you, he's Bucks hunting. Especially, I mean, I would be a dead man too if I screwed that man out of a world title at AEW Dynasty. And also with the fact they didn't even like it when he was champion last year. I could tell they didn't want him as champion. Yeah, get that annoying bald little nerd out of there. Doing the gritty. Ooh, double suplex by Swerve. You ain't gonna do a super kick on Swerve, Mr. Mark Briscoe. I'm really happy Mark Briscoe is being involved in this. And especially he has been a reliable person that people can lean on. He's just all heart. Froggy! Oh. Here comes Ricochet. Ooh, nice move by Mark Briscoe. Oh. Are you serious? They pin Swerve Strickland? Oh my God. Man, this is like the second week in a row. Your winners, the EVPs and Ricochet. And I can tell you, Swerve Strickland is not happy. And he is still Bucks hunting. Man, see, it's bad enough the Young Bucks beat Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey last week. Now you have it this week. God. I can't believe. Well, I really thought Ricochet was going to take the pin. I can tell you, this is far from over. And oh, speaking of that, here's the birthday boy, Will Ospreay. Well, looky, MJF. Ah, I know Will Ospreay was going to say that. Well, whew, whew. Well, it looks like MJF is trying to give support to Will Ospreay because Will Ospreay said it many times he wants to be the guy. But there's a lot of many people. Well, that is true until Butt and Guts. I just don't like to see Swerve weak. I just don't like to see him weak. I mean, I don't think it is going to hurt him. I actually don't think this is going to hurt him that bad. I don't think this is going to hurt Swerve. I think it's really going to increase the dangerous level that he's going to have against the Young Bucks because sooner or later he's going to get his revenge against them for what he did. And also I could see, because I know it's going to be probably a tag team match, because I know Kenny Omega wants a piece of the Young Bucks, Swerve wants a piece of the Young Bucks, but we shall see how that plays out because there's a lot of layers to this. I did. I actually did see Darby Allin do that. He broke the record. He's been training for this a month. It looks like he got a little bit of muscle in his arm. So good for Darby Allin. Just come safely home. Come safely home and just help out destroy the Death Riders. Because I think MJF really wants Moxley to win. Because, of course, well, I think with Will Ospreay, he's very likable. And I think this is what Darby is saying, is trying to get the entire AEW locker room running around with against the Death Riders. But, of course, some of that did fizzle out because it had to deal with pride, it had to deal with ego, it had to deal with everything else. But we shall see. I'm gonna be very honest. I don't see AJ Styles being in AEW, and the reason I say that is because he's mentioned this a few times in his interview that he only has a few years left of wrestling, and I think he wants to end it on a high note in WWE because that's the only thing that I do see. I just can't see him in AEW. I think because with so much history with that, and also with the fact TNA, because TNA, even though they have a partnership with NXT, that is also his another home. And I would love for him to make a mark in TNA, the house that created AJ Styles. I mean, I think he has said this in several interviews that he wants to hang his boots. I would love for him to just come back home to TNA where he first started, where he had his matches with Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, helping out with the X Division. Kid Cash, he had a match. Monty Brown. I would love to see him back in TNA. Exactly. I'm not crazy, but that would be crazy if he did skip out on TNA. It would be crazy. But anyways, oh, and speaking of this, I have a sit down Renee Paquette with Jamie Hager and my client. And okay, Jamie, she does look like Daphne a bit. I do like the red hair color with Jamie Hager, but I do need to revamp it. I don't know why, but she reminds me of the lead singer from The Door, Jim Morrison, with that outfit. She does remind me of like Jim Morrison a bit with the glasses. Woo! And that's why I picked her as my client. You tell her, Miss Jamie Hater. Man, I knew for a fact she was gonna look past Jimmy Hater. I know it. She was gonna take a cheap shot at Jimmy Hater. Man, you know what it is? She's like a cheap shot at her because of what happened last week. And hold on. My client, Jamie Hager. See, that's what happened last week because Mercedes, she ran for Jamie Hager last week. You don't mess with an angry Brit. I mean, she did call her a ripoff of Scooby Doo. I'm just saying. The fans are rooting for Jamie. Ooh, she was really gonna put the haterade on it. See? That's why I picked her. Because she doesn't take BS, and you don't mess with anybody from the UK. And ooh, I knew she was going to take a cheap shot from behind. Well, to be fair, Mercedes, you kind of disrespected my client, and I don't appreciate you putting your hands on my client because you know for a fact. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to keep saying it. She's going to get screwed at Double or Nothing. I mean, Zach can say what he wants. A lot of people can, but I have a feeling Mercedes is going to get screwed at Double or Nothing. Oh, and there's Willow Nightingale. And she came back from her trip in Japan. Chris Statlander. Oh, looks like and I do like Alicia's hair. So tomorrow it will be Chris Statlander taking on Willow Nightingale, former best friends, but that should be a very interesting match. Also, I know Willow can handle Marina on her own, and I know Double or Nothing. Marina and Willow are probably going to get involved with Double or Nothing, but I do have this feeling if Tony Khan really wants to go all out at All In, you get the reference. If he wants to really go all the way with All In, you need not one, not two, but 3 women's matches at All In Texas. You better bank on that. And also we have Ced dropping in. How old is Rhino? I'm actually gonna look that up now. Rhino is 49 years old. He is 49 years old, Ced, which is shockingly. He doesn't even look 49. It looks like he turned back the clock. And also we have AEW Continental Championship Eliminator match. And it looks like we were gonna have that match, but Roosh came out because he still has a beef with Kevin Knight with those two. I thought at least we were gonna see them in action, but I guess not. And Kalistico, he's back at the ring. Okada's looking like, what am I doing? Okada's just standing in the ring, and I don't know. It could be Barboza, but man, he just took out Kevin Knight. Whoosh. Well, here comes Speedball Mike Bailey, his tag team partner. At least he has his tag team partner. Okada's looking in the ring like, okay, what do I do? He's like looking like, what am I doing? But anyways, going back to Jamie Hager and Mercedes Moné. Mercedes, girl, you picked the wrong client to mess with. And there's a reason why I picked Jamie Hager, because you don't mess with an angry Brit. And I stand by what I said. I believe Mercedes Moné is going to get screwed at Double or Nothing. Because Jamie Hager is no joke. Because you know what? Jamie Hager may not have the status or the star power as Mercedes, or she may not be able to travel. Well, let me rephrase that. She has traveled. Jamie has wrestled in Japan. She has wrestled in the UK. She was born in the UK. But she may not be traveling all over the globe. I am no. I am not taking it back. It's only a matter of time. She's gonna have her first loss, sir. And as I said, ladies and gentlemen of WWT Live, you're gonna be getting a lot of words back and forth because both of our clients are facing off at Double or Nothing, and even going past it. And it looks like, and taking back my attention, we're gonna have Okada taking on Kevin Knight. It looks like he's back in the ring, and we thought Kevin Knight is still staying in. Well, Boza, to be fair, I don't think she's going to lose the New Japan women's title. I don't think she's going to lose that one. If there's any belt that she is going to drop, TBS, just let her drop the TBS belt. That's all I ask. No, said I'm not taking it back. I do think she's going to get screwed at Double or Nothing. And do not underestimate my client, Jamie Hager. Because even though she says she's a ripoff of Scooby-Doo, which in the outfit she wore, she looked like the lead singer from The Doors, Jim Morrison, with the sunglasses and the outfit. But you're going to drink yourself a case of haterade in a couple weeks. And I stand by what I said. I do. But going back to this Continental Championship Eliminator match, Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker, taking on Kevin Knight. Okada's just pretty much toying with Kevin Knight after the beating he got from Roosh. But Kevin Knight is showing a little bit of offense. Well, this match is going in picture, but the match is still going live between Kazuchika Okada and Kevin Knight. Of course, it's going to be a little bit out of the tank because he did get a beating from Roosh after what happened this past think of Chris Satlin. I will. Well, Logan, thank you for joining on this watch along, my Timeless Elite watch along. But we shall see what happens with Chris Statlander. We know contracts and renewals do get a little fishy when it comes to agents and everything else because it is a business and we don't know the circumstance. But we shall see what happens. I would love for Chris Statlander to stick around because she's been with AEW from the beginning. She was with my client. She started off with my client, Freshly Squeezed, Orange Cassidy. Then, of course, she teamed up with Willow and had incredible matches. And she is definitely one of the pillars of that women's division for Statlander. I do think it is on the rise. I just don't want to see her go. I do think there is potential in there, but we shall see. We shall see what happens. But going back to the match between Kazuchika Okada and Kevin Knight, as I mentioned, even though it's picture-in-picture, the match is still going live. Kevin Knight is showing some offense. He is showing some offense. I will give Kevin Knight some credit, even though he got a beating. He's showing a lot of offense, and Kazuchika Okada is just toying with him, saying like, "Oh, I'm just gonna do this." And then after this, we have the main event. Samoa Joe taking on Claudio Castagnoli. That's our main event for AEW Dynamite. And we are back live with the eliminator match for the Continental Championship. Kazuchika Okada, the reigning champion, taking on Kevin Knight. I'm sure we'll possibly see an appearance from Kenny Omega, because it looks like it's a possibility it'll be Kenny versus Okada at All In Texas. Possibly a free-for-all for the title. But we shall see on that. Like I said, our main event still to come. Samoa Joe taking on Claudio Castagnoli. And also tomorrow night, AEW Collision at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We now know Daniel Garcia will be facing one of the members of FTR. Don't know which member he's going to face, but so far that's the only match confirmed for Collision. Ooh, nice counter by Kevin Knight. It looks like Okada's doing his signature taunting. I have to give credit. Kevin Knight is definitely showing some offense. Hi, Eddie Foster. Thank you for joining on this watch along for AEW Dynamite tonight. You're just in time to see an AEW Continental Championship Eliminator match between the high-flying and latest newcomer of AEW, Kevin Knight, taking on the reigning champion, Kazuchika Okada. I'm sure we're probably going to see an appearance of Kenny Omega after this match. But I give Kevin Knight credit after the beatdown he got from Roosh. after their fatal four-way match they had this past Saturday on Collision in Atlantic City. Hi, Hassan Terrell. Thank you for joining on the Swatch Along for AEW Dynamite. You're just joining in on a very cool match between Kevin Knight and Kazuchika Okada, and it looks like Kazuchika got the Rainmaker, and that has to be it. Yep. And your winner is the reigning AEW Continental Champion Kazuchika Okada. I think he's gonna lose. If there's any person he's gonna lose to, it's possibly gonna be Kenny Omega. He has to lose to Kenny. And he's just really putting a Rainmaker on. I give credit to Kevin Knight. He got a beating from Roosh earlier. Now he's getting a beating from Okada. I'm sure we're going to see an appearance from Kenny Omega. And, Speedball Mike Bailey. I really thought Kenny Omega was going to come out. Unless they're saving Kenny for tomorrow for Collision. But thankfully his teammate came out. You know what? I know with the Hurt Syndicate, they're looking for the tag team titles. I know everybody wants the Outrunners, and they want Private Party, and they want Top Flight. But I wouldn't mind if Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight get a shot at those belts. I wouldn't mind it either. Oh, and I gotta deal with this creep. Yeah, I guess he put out the challenge to the Outrunners, getting two of the partners. I don't think that'll be hard for the Outrunners to get partners. Yep, friendly reminder, AEW Collision will be on tomorrow on TBS. And we got some good matches. So we're going to see round 2 of Speedball Mike Bailey against Jalisco tomorrow night in Detroit, Michigan. Oh, and we get to see one of my other clients, one of my favorite clients, Anthony Bowens, take on Lee Johnson after that encounter last week. As announced, we're going to see Willow Nightingale take on Chris Statlander, as well also along with Daniel Garcia taking on a member of FTR. Don't know what member it's going to be. We shall find out tomorrow night in Detroit, Michigan, and it's live. And next week on Beats Break, Will Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page taking on Konosuke Takeshita and Josh Alexander in tag team action. Also next week, we've been talking about it for the last hour, 2 hours. Jon Moxley, Samoa Joe for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship in a steel cage. And up next, we got our main event happening. Lots of stuff happening. Do they unify the belts? It feels like they're just playing James just to get. That's what I'm thinking too, Boza, because I think it's only a matter of time. I know, Boza, but just to be fair, from a branding and PR perspective, I'm kind of happy they are building up and hyping up this match for next week, because we've seen this many times. And I think this is something Professor said too, on really trying to get a promo getting on, especially ahead of a really big match, whether it be on Dynamite or pay-per-view or Collision or whatever, just really getting enough time to get that exposure, get people excited about it, the match, the story, the background, whatever. So I'm happy they are trying to amplify and ump this. And plus, I always like seeing Samoa Joe in action in the main event picture. I don't have a problem with that. I didn't have a problem of it when he was champion. So we shall see. It's our main event. I'm just catching up on comments because some of these comments are pretty hilarious. Okay. But this has been a fun time with you all for Timeless Elite Wednesday with the elitist of all elitists. I'm very happy to spend the time with all of you. We are going to do a quick post show after this, so do not be afraid on that. Also, since Seth popped on my watch along for a bit, I do want to send a friendly reminder that he's going to be on the Podfathers podcast Flobo at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, 10:30 p.m. on the East Coast. He's going to join his podcast later tonight, so make sure to support Ced and Flobo because they'll be talking probably about what happened on Raw and tonight on Dynamite and all the good things happening. So, of course, I had to plug that in as well. Also, like I said, here at WWT Live, we want to send a happy late birthday to the great Owen Hart. It is his birthday today, and it's also Will Ospreay's birthday today. So send a happy birthday to him. And how cool is it you get to share it with Owen Hart? That is really cool. But this has been a very solid and decent episode of Dynamite. I'm very curious on what they're going to do tomorrow night on Collision. Because I feel like there's so much that can happen. Oh, and speaking of that, here is the Heart Syndicate. It's just funny Alicia's doing the interview considering she's dating MJF. So it looks like next week we're going to get an answer if MJF is in. We shall see what happens next week. Oh, Amatu-san, what did Ced do to you? I'm pretty sure it was harmless. I know, it's crazy. He hired legal counsel, and it was so crazy that it was Alicia giving the interview talking about MJF. But here comes Claudio, as I mentioned earlier, John Moxley's muscled henchman. But it's our main event. I know it's between him and Samoa Joe, but I expect shenanigans and chaos in this match. Because after last week, they took out Shibata last week. We haven't seen Hook since he got injured. But I think this is going to be the time because I know with oh, don't feel so bad. Sinzel always takes shots at Ced. What do you expect? He always takes shots at her. And that's regarding what happened with Julia because she held the belt for 63 days. So don't feel bad because you know what? In the AEW side, he gets on me, especially with two of my clients, Tony Storm and Jimmy Hager, because he has Little Miss CEO, Mercedes Moné. So don't feel so bad. But here is Samoa Joe. But as I mentioned, Shibata is her from last week. And then we haven't seen Hook. But yeah, this is going to be a solid match, but I do expect a lot of chaos, shenanigans, and mayhem happening throughout this match. Also, I'm very curious on what those pesky EVPs had to say about the Death Riders, because like I said, I forget how many months ago was this, but this was during my watch along. That I mentioned that I would not be surprised if the Elite and the Death Riders were working together behind the scenes. And then you throw in Jack Perry. I would not be surprised if that comes in together. It's very interesting because it's like you have the Don Callis family. You also have God, I forget who else. The Don Callis. Oh, FTR now is heels, so that would be interesting. But here we go. Our main event. 1 week before he has to take on Peter Griffin's long lost brother, Samoa Joe, taking on Claudio Castagnoli. Samoa's just sitting laid back and cool. Like, really? He's just sitting laid back and cool, and then he goes into fight mode. It was too late. Samoa Joe has him in a submission hold, and Claudio, he's on the ropes. He's right between the ropes, I should say. Nasty clothesline. Oof. Claudio taking that nasty hit on the barricade. Oh my goodness. Samoa Joe. He knew that was going to happen. Samoa Joe. He's just, it's interesting when the Death Rider storyline was coming along. almost every single top tier superstar was in storylines, with the exception of Darby and Orange Cassidy, because those two were kind of leading the charge a bit, but they needed help because some of the other guys, they were in storylines. Like Hangman and Swerve were facing off against each other, along with Swerve dealing with the Hurt Syndicate when they first came on the scene. Then Will Ospreay had to deal with Kyle Fletcher. MJF had to take care of some issues as well. And this is when Samoa Joe had to do his movie, Twisted Metal. So it's really interesting how some of the top tier guys, they were in various storylines when they first started. But now, since it's coming into fray, you have a lot of the other top tier guys that are slowly coming to friction with Hangman, MJF, Swerve, Will Ospreay, and now Samoa Joe. And also, even though it's a picture, the match is still going live. So it looks like Claudio does have the upper hand. Claudio looks like he has Samoa Joe on a chokehold. And we are back live with our main event. Claudio Castagnoli taking on Samoa Joe. 1 week before they have to surf into beach break in Chicago. I hope next week when they do beach break, I just hope the whole ring and everything else is like beach themed. I just want it all to be beach themed. That's what I want. That's what I want. I just want it all to be beach themed. But it looks like Claudio has Samoa Joe possibly in a chokehold. Kick out by Claudio. Nice move by the referee. Thumb to the eye to Samoa Joe. Oh, and also, I forgot all about this. So next week, it's going to be a big week next Wednesday because it looks like I'm going to be pulling double duty because not only I have this, but if you're a football fan like me, next Wednesday is when the NFL schedule comes out. So I will be providing not just AEW Dynamite, but live updates on the NFL because I want to see how the Dolphins schedule is this year and who are we playing week 1 if we get any playoff games. So next Wednesday is going to be very fun, not just in the wrestling world, but also in the NFL world. And I am sure Tony Khan is going to be following the schedule very closely with the fact his position in the Jacksonville Jaguars is the Chief Football Strategy Officer. So there's going to be a lot happening in the NFL and wrestling. But Samoa Joe, okay, he released a submission hold. Oh, wait! Oh, that was interesting. Your winner of the match is Samoa Joe. I really thought the match continued. But your winner is Samoa Joe. He won clean. But, he's itching. Because he has to deal with members. Because there's Wheeler Yuta. There's Marina Shafir. There's, as I said, Peter Griffin's long-lost brother, John Moxley. And there's his buddy, Powerhouse Hobbs. See, Joe is very smart. He knew he had some backup coming in. He had his buddy, Powerhouse Hobbs. Because remember, he took out Shibata last week. He took out Hook a couple weeks ago. I think this is where some of the locker room really needs to start coming together. Because this is where some storylines are going to intertwine with each other. And here comes Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe. Powerhouse Hobbs. With the chair. Moxley knows his time is coming because almost every single top tier guy is gunning for him. And on top of that, not only you have to deal with next week, you also have to deal with whoever's going to win the Owen Hart Men's Cup tournament. Because that's also going to be a deterring factor. And also waiting for a guy who just climbed up Mount Everest and we're just waiting for him to come back home. And it looks like they're doing the same thing that they did to their buddy Shibata and Hook. I dare that little runt Wheeler Yuta comes out here. But Samoa Joe sent a statement. Yep, I'll be surfing into Chicago next week for beach break. I just hope they do the whole arena and everything like a beach theme. Just do it all and I'll be happy. I just want to see a theme. But next week on beach break, we have Will Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page taking on Konosuke Takeshita and Josh Alexander in tag team action. Because the Don Callis family is gunning for both Will Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page. So many shenanigans happening in that match. And that is how you end AEW Dynamite. That is an interesting Eddie, at this point, with their match, I think they might have to at this point because the common enemy is Don Callis, and also with the fact Hangman also beat Kyle Fletcher too, so that's also another thing too. But that is how you end AEW Dynamite. And I'm gonna see if I can get the results from. Let me see if I can pull up the results from tonight. Because I'm going to do a quick rundown of all the matches. Okay, so we kicked off with a promo. I'm not going to go too crazy with the promos, but we kicked off with both Hangman and the birthday boy himself. As a reminder, it is Will Ospreay's birthday, so make sure you wish him a happy birthday. Will Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page said some words to each other ahead of their match for the Owen Hart Men's Cup Tournament at Double or Nothing. They're both ready for it, but then, of course, that creep Don Callis comes in, and, he had some words to say, which is very interesting, and that leads to a tag team match, as I mentioned earlier, between Konosuke Takeshita and Josh Alexander taking on Will Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page. We also did see that Weasel, Stokely Hathaway, and FTR confront Tony Schiavone. Apparently, it's going to be a little bit of an issue, and the only reason they did that was because Nigel wasn't there. Because Nigel looks like he can still wrestle. I don't care what anybody says. Nigel McGuinness can still wrestle. Now, I don't know how this is going to work because who would be Nigel's tag team partner? Because I'm sure a lot of people do respect Nigel McGuinness for the impact he made at Ring of Honor, but we shall see what happens because this is a storyline that is currently developing, and they did call out Daniel Garcia because of his match tomorrow night on Collision, where he's facing off with a member from FTR. But the first match to kick off, shockingly enough, was the ladies. This was a very nice one. So I'm very happy to see the ladies kick it off. AEW Dynamite. We got to see my client, the timeless one, the AEW Women's Champion Toni Storm, against Thunder Rosa, Anna Jay, and Penelope Ford in a very fun fatal four-way match between all four of these ladies. Of course, we saw Megan Bayne try to interfere on behalf of Penelope Ford. We also got to see Harley Cameron come in and show a little spunk with that pipe in her hand, especially after what happened this past weekend on Collision, where she stood up for her friend Anna Jay. So we'll see those two ladies. We'll see all four of those ladies going at it. And this is a storyline that I'm very excited to see. And they are expanding storylines outside of the respective title pictures, which I love. But your winner of the match is my client, the timeless one. We did see Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm hugging at each other. I do have a feeling Thunder Rosa is possibly going to turn on her. I do think she works better as a heel than she does as a face. But it's only a matter of time. And plus, they do have history with each other. But I don't have a problem seeing. I don't have a problem for Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm going at it one-on-one again. But definitely be on the radar for that. We also did see the Hurt Syndicate come out where, MVP called out many tag teams to step up to the plate because since they've been tag team champions, we've seen them beat up on Private Party, the Outrunners, the Gates of Agony. There's only a matter of timing. Unfortunately, can't say my clients the Acclaimed because they're on solo runs right now. But they'll be back in 2026. I do think they will be back. But let my boys do their thing. But anyways, we got to see Top Flight in the ring, and also Leah Rush and Actually Andretti sitting in the stands. Of course, when Top Flight was trying to make their claim on trying to go for tag team gold, we saw MJF beating up on both Darius and Dante. Of course, MJF trying to get initiated with the Hurt Syndicate, and Bobby Lashley cracked a smile. So we shall see next week what the answer is, if MJF's going to be in the Hurt Syndicate or not. Only time will tell. He also had a confrontation with Will Ospreay. So that was really interesting. We're also got to see a bonus match. Ring of Honor television champion Nick Wayne taking on Rhino, who is from Detroit, Michigan, by the way. And the ending was very weird. It's just the ending of the match was very odd. But I was very happy to see Rhino. I was just surprised he lost the way he did because I thought he was going to win. But of course, we still see a lot of friction between Christian and Nick Wayne. It's only a matter of time when the trigger is pulled, but that is a storyline that is developing, and we will see that in the coming weeks. We also got to see Rouge calling out Kevin Knight after their squabble during that Fatal 4-Way match. That was insanity, but very happy to see that. Also, we got to see, and I want to give this to the ladies, but this was probably one of the best matches of the night. Speedball Mike Bailey, Mark Briscoe, and Swerve Strickland taking on Ricochet and the Young Bucks. Very interesting. Matthew Jackson catching Swerve in a cradle to score the win. That was very interesting. That was very interesting to see Swerve get pinned, but it's only a matter of time that Swerve is going to get his revenge against the Young Bucks, because that man is going Bucks hunting. He's going Bucks hunting. It's only a matter of time on when that's going to happen soon. But let those pesky EVPs enjoy their victory now, because sooner or later, they're going to get some karma, and they're going to get a bloody beating. By not just Swerve, but a lot of other people in that locker room. Let's see. Okay, so I got to see my latest client, Jamie Hayter, have a sit down with Renee Paquette, and I have to say she did look more like Jim Morrison, the lead singer of the Doors, in that outfit. Jamie, this is the first time Jamie Hayter and Mercedes are gonna meet. Jamie Hayter said it. She may not have Mercedes' resume or star power, but she does have integrity. She doesn't hold back anything. And she said it's going to prove that Mercedes isn't untouchable at AEW. Of course, Renee brought up Jamie Hager's injury. That's one of the reasons she was out for quite some time. Mercedes tried to jump Jamie Hager from behind, and they started to brawl. But Mercedes got the upper hand here. But we shall see. I give it up on my client, Jamie Hager, because you don't mess with the angry Brit. But it's sooner or later, something's going to happen. And you know what? I don't care what Seth has to say. Yeah, he thinks Mercedes is going to win, but we shall see, because it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be ugly. And I stand by what I said. I do believe that Mercedes Moné is going to get screwed at Double or Nothing. It's just a matter of time on when that is going to happen. Also, we got to see Willow Nightingale return from her trip to Japan, where she will be facing off against Chris Statlander tomorrow on AEW Collision. I'm very excited for that. We also had Kazuchika Okada taking on Kevin Knight. Unfortunately, Rouge attacks Kevin Knight on his way to the ring. And Speedball Mike Bailey tried to come out and help his tag team partner. The match was really good. I actually did think. I will say, I did like the match. It was very nice of Kevin Knight, and for him to really finish the match, even though he got attacked, that was amazing too. The winner was Kazuchika Okada, and then Okada tried to hit him with one or two rainmakers, but Speedball Mike Bailey came out to help out his tag team partner. That is a good tag team partner and friend right there. I really thought Kenny Omega was going to come out, but we shall see. Alicia, like I said, she tried to get an answer of Bobby Lashley, but we will find out next week if he's in the Hurt Syndicate or not. So that's interesting. Well, I will say the main event. Samoa Joe, Claudio Castagnoli. That was the main event in Dynamite, which actually, I didn't even find that. I found it so odd because I thought the match was still continuing until I found out the match is over. I was like, oh, it took me a second to realize Claudio Castagnoli tapped out. But your winner by submission is Samoa Joe. Then, of course, the Death Rider trying to make a statement on Samoa Joe, but Samoa Joe outsmarted him because he is Powerhouse Hobbs. As you know, they took out Shibata last week. A couple weeks ago, they took out Hook. So it's going to be something. And Jon Moxley, you better bring your A game next week because you're going up against Samoa Joe in the steel cage. Next week, I could smell shenanigans. I could smell them right over here. I could smell it right over here. But I do believe it's definitely going to be a very good solid match. Also, we have the Owen Hart men's tournament. Winner of that match goes into All in Texas. So, yeah, everybody is gunning for the title, but most specifically, they are gunning for Jon Moxley and the Death Riders. And by next week, we can have a clear idea on what matches in store for Double or Nothing, who's going to be in the Anarchy in the Arena match, having that clear mindset. But for this episode, this is actually a very solid all-around Dynamite episode, and it did deliver in Detroit, Michigan. I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. It did what it needed to do. Really continued with the storylines towards not just Beach Break next week, but also leading up to Double or Nothing and just continuing the road to All In. That's what they pretty much need to do, is consistency, building up various storylines, adding additional matches to your women's division. I'm just saying, improving on your women's division. So it's only a matter of time. I give it a 9 out of 10. But it has been wonderful spending it with all of you on this watch along for Timeless Elite Wednesdays with me, the elitist of all elites, the Timeless Elite, your PR princess, Stone Cold, whatever you want to call me. I am here with all of you. Definitely want to thank everybody that had joined us. Boza, Eddie Foster, Hassan Terrell. We got to see our own mayor come in support of his client, Mercedes Monet. You can check him out on the Podfathers podcast, which is happening in the next 10 minutes. So feel free to hop over there. Thank you to all who joined on this chat. Feel free to catch up on that. Feel free to follow us and the rest of the people on WWT Live. I will not be there on Friday. I'll be back on Monday because I'm getting ready for 90s Wrestling Con this week. So I'm very excited to do that. I will be back next week for Beach Break, and also I'm doing double duty because not only it's Beach Break, it's also the release of the NFL schedule. So I'm going to be pulling off a double duty. I know Tony Khan's going to be pulling off a double duty with the fact he works for the Jaguars. So double duties all around, but it has been a fun night with all of you. I'm actually excited to surf into Beach Break in Chicago, Illinois next week. So thank you all. Please make sure to follow me on my socials. I'm at CourtneyNJ11 because I do have content that's happening in the coming weeks. And make sure to check out my previous content that I shared of Julie interviewing Julia Hart, Deonna Purrazzo from the Queen of the Ring red carpet back in March. Also, I got to attend Max Caster's concert last month in Philadelphia. It was really fun to do. And also, there is plenty more stuff to happen. So, thank you to all of you. Yeah, Boza, I will be covering that because I need to know when my Dolphins play and who they play, not just week 1, primetime games, and throughout the whole season. So, thank you to all of you for this edition of Timeless Elite Wednesday. This is your elitist of all elitists, Courtney, signing off with you. And make sure to follow Women's Wrestling Talk on all social channels because we are the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. Have a great evening, and I will see you next week.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WWTalkpod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.